You've a son a new a wabad to Palm Swipes After. A twat bird of the latest episode of Mom Swipes Left, a podcast with two middle-aged women who are so tired of people being oversensitive that their nipples hurt. This is episode 60 about MSL episode 199. One more to go, baby. I'm your host, Pomme de Terre. Enjoy. As I alluded to, the show kicked off with a thirsty shout out for listeners to call Altoona 1 for the 200th episode because it's not good enough that a fucking potato has given them shout outs for 60 weeks in a row. Cheryl Carol's shit list. Cheryl's kit list. I don't know. Was all about the Jeffrey Dahmer story series and how people are upset that it's gross, which is, I think, reasonable. I'm not going to watch it, and because I don't like that kind of stuff. Questions about bequest and that, well, Jen was right. Carol said that she watched the show at Jen's bequest, which I think she meant behest, because if she bequested it, would have been bequeathed on her death, and I don't think Jenny has that in her power to put in her will that Carol has to watch Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. A lot of good talk about who's going to eat whose sandwich. I know whose sandwich I'm not going to eat. Jen's biggest complaint about the show seemed to be that the heart Jeffrey Dahmer ate just looked too damn delicious. A lot of talk about Carol's vegan yoga writing retreat and the lady's intention to create badass bitch yoga, which would be a branch of laughing yoga, I think. Maybe with or without goats. I would like to see with goats, as goats are hilarious, especially when they scream. You know how to make a goat scream, don't you? I'm not even going to hazard a guess. Annoying coworkers. The call that went out a few weeks ago for annoying coworkers and grievances. No, just that was a shit list, I think, about annoying coworkers. And Missy's was Beth, who's always pregnant or mothering. Solid advice from Jen to, just fake a miscarriage. And there was a grievance prompt, so everybody call in with your grievances about Jen and Carol. I feel somewhat obliged to say that finally getting back to the annoying coworkers conversation, there was no mention about me and Benny the Earthworm, who I complained about weeks from ago as requested. Oh, that's right. Bequeathed reminds me of queef, which reminds me of the joke about the difference between a woman and a refrigerator. But I'm going to move on to the slur quiz, which I feel bad for the fan who sent it in. I'm sure it sounded funnier to him or her than it turned out, but nice try. TV mashups was fun. I was a little disappointed in myself for not getting as many of the references as expected. addicted to amphetamines, I immediately thought of Alex on Family Ties. Trapped in a fridge, I was kind of with Carol. I didn't think so much about the dangers of old refrigerators left in the woods as much as the trope of people getting locked in walk-in freezers, which would have been pretty much every series from the Brady Bunch to Three's Company and that tragic last episode of Eight is Enough where the entire family gets trapped in a freezer and has to eat each other. But finally Nicholas gets his revenge. The Too Close for Comfort rape episode with Jim J. Bullock. I always loved that Jim was just JM, but I don't remember that episode. The description reminded me of a 1974 made for TV movie starring Paul Sorvino called It Couldn't Happen to a Nicer Guy, which I remember watching on after school movies. Not an after school special, but it was about a middle aged man who gets kidnapped at gunpoint and raped in a car. Hilarity. I don't remember the episode about of Ties where Mallory got groped by a friend uncle. I can only remember Tom Hanks as Uncle Ned, the verbally abusive alcoholic. That was scary because we loved Uncle Ned. He was just Buffy from shit. What the hell was that sitcom with Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari? Bosom Buddies. Thank you. Bosom as like it's a double entendre for boobs. You get it? Uh, Jenny wants to waddle up Ricky Gervais in her hoo ha and got in a little bit of trouble for that, but not really, and fine. It's not that big a deal. I think it makes her feel good to be canceled or blocked. Honestly, I should probably be as well, just by association. I might sneeze, but I'm going to stop before I do. I'm going to try something I've never done before, a postscript. So I had a note about a TV mashup that was already a TV mashup, kind of referred to in the episode about Arnold and Dudley getting molested on different strokes. They were molested by Mr. Carlson from WKRP in Cincinnati, Gordon Jump. A never more appropriately named actor to play a molester, I suppose. That was all. That's my postscript. Ta-ta.